And ladies and gentlemen, we are back here. We're still doing this whole documentary today of the Smash Brothers, so stay tuned for this marathon. You just saw the first episode, Show Me Your Moves. And before we get into episode 2, No Johns, I believe we have the first of our many guests this evening. He's in through Skype. Now, Solid Jake, would you like to... Who is this individual we're going to bring on first?
So we are bringing on none other than Wife. And if you guys don't know who Wife is, he's probably one of the oldest people in the community in terms of, time spent in the community. Right. I wouldn't say in age. There's some pretty old people in this community too as well. But Wife has done a lot. He's been there from the beginning for sure. Right. And we actually have him on Skype, so let's see what he has to say. What's up, Wife?
How's it going?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Doing well. Happy holidays. And again, thank you for joining us.
To you.
So, Wife, what can we say? You've been part of the scene for so long. You've seen it develop over all these years. You recently started to return. A lot of people want to know, is Wife coming back? What's your future within the scene? Because you have one heck of a storied past.
I get asked a lot if I'm coming back, but in my mind, I never left. As I see it, I've always been a part of it. It's hard for me to imagine not being a part of it. Right. I don't go to tournaments as often as I used to because, the quote-unquote real life gets in the way, but I still follow all the things that are happening. I watch the videos. I go to the really good tournaments, the ones that I can, pick out I really want to be a part of. So I'm here. Don't forget about me.
All right, fantastic.
All these rumblings of MLG. Would you compete again? Would you put on the gloves and jump in the ring?
What the newlyweds return?
Absolutely, yeah. It's hard to balance, professional gaming and other things you're doing with your life. But if it was a part of MLG, then yes, I would make an exception. I would come back. I would balance those priorities differently, and I would 100% become a part of the scene in the way that I was before. If it was a sense of MLG, if there was real money to be made, real potential for a future, if there was building something. And the community's great by itself, it's a beautiful thing, but we can only do so much just by ourselves. I think at some point you do need the money and you need the brand to take you to the next level. So that would be very exciting if that were to somehow happen again.
Be fantastic. Now, the next episode we're getting into is called No Johns. Now, Wife, we haven't learned what Johns are yet, but for the viewing audience at home, what is the most outlandish John you have heard in all of your years of playing this game?
Prague, let me cut you off. I can't hear you very well. I can hear you a little bit before. Even if you want to maybe just, if you wanted to just chat me, like IM me the questions, if that's the easiest way to do this, I'd be happy to answer. I think you guys can hear me pretty well. Yeah. But I definitely missed that last question.
Jake, do you want to be asked?
Are you able to hear me as well, or is it just Prague you can hear? Am I good?
Again, very distantly. I caught those first two, I think, well enough to answer them, but not well. You sound far away. Okay. So I don't know if it's easier to just the mic, or if you want to just chat me the questions, then I'd be happy to respond that way. Whatever's, I think, easiest.
Well, Solid Jake is already on the move. He's going to ask you this question.
The question was the most outlandish John?
The most outlandish John you've ever heard, Wife. But you're going to find out momentarily. And again, Wife, we thank you for spending some of your Saturday afternoon with us. And everyone at home that's watching and tuned in to this marathon.
That's a good question. Outlandish John I've ever heard. Wish I had an answer armed and ready for you. This is awful because he's there, and I have so much respect for him. My first instinct goes to Wes. Wes and I had a thing where him and I would play all the time, and Samus is my best matchup, which absolutely. I mean, Marth I felt pride in, but it's such a tough matchup that it's still difficult. But I don't know that I've ever lost to a Samus after I first reached pro status, and Wes and I would keep playing. And when I would reflect the charge blast and hit him back at him, Wes would go, "Oh, that's right, I forgot. It's really easy to do with Peach." I was like, "Oh yeah, that's right. It's just really easy for me." Stupid me.
Oh man, that's a pretty outlandish John.
Right.
I'm actually looking Wes in the eye right now as he grabs somebody.
Right? He has no idea what's going on.
He has no idea. He can't hear you. That's still pretty funny. But we do have Wes in the studio here, and we're gonna be talking to him later on today. So.
Right. And again, Wife, we thank you for being part of this. We might have some more questions for you later on, but in the meantime, we're going to go to another commercial break. We'll come back to the studio.
Well, real quick, I just want to interject really quick. Actually, I wanted to. Can you hear us right now? Is it clear enough? No?
No.
I'm gonna type you a question.
Okay, just chat me and I'll respond though.
I'm gonna say, how has the community affected you? And tell us about your book.
Okay, so being a part of the Smash community, I mean, there's my life before Smash and after Smash, in many senses. It's completely informed who I am. I think at the time when I was playing Smash, it was that, like I said, there is the past tense. So like I said, just validated your guys' question. But when I was playing Smash heavily, when I was pro, and most importantly, when MLG had us as a game, then that was a certain feeling. And when that was happening, that was the real me. For sure, it was my personality. And now that Smash, while it's still important to me, is not the most prominent thing in my life, it has now affected what I would now call the real me, so to speak. It's taught me to go out of my shell. It's taught me about competition. It's taught me about diversity. And to segue into the second part of your question about my book, one of the main reasons I wanted to write the book was about the diversity that I experienced, and I wanted to share that with other people. For example, before Smash, I had no idea the different types of people that could exist, the different subclasses of nerds, if you will. You know, so many interesting people and interesting stories. And, you know, why are you here at a video game tournament? What brought you here? What is your life like when you're not at a video game tournament? I learned so much about people, and it's affected the way I see things. When I meet someone that's different, I wonder what their story is, and I wonder what they can do really well. You know, a lot of the Smash people, especially the ones that are especially good at the game, you know, the real stars, you wouldn't know that from meeting them, you know, briefly at a party or at a restaurant, but yet they're gods in a different world. That to me is so exciting, and that's one of the things I wanted to try to capture in my book, and that is definitely captured in the documentary. And I thought that if I could write that book and people would read it, they would say, well, wow, there really are, you know, different worlds, the worlds that I don't even know about. I've never heard of this, yet people will dedicate their entire life to it and experience their highs and lows and their successes and failures and find themselves in this community that I might not even have heard of otherwise.
Absolutely, yeah.
And of course, you did talk about finding a second self, but...
Yeah, really appreciate the plug for my book. I certainly wasn't going to go there. Today's all about Samex. But yeah, you can view all the details of my book. Just go to teambenthebook.tumblr.com. I gave the book its own Tumblr. That way you can see pictures and videos. And then you can either download it for free or you can buy it for very, very cheap. And then it's another exposure, right? It's kind of a companion piece to the documentary, I feel like, because it covers a similar span of time, a little bit shorter, and my book is intimate, whereas Sam Ox's documentary is wide-ranging. So it takes it eliminates some of the characters just because there wasn't space, you know, unfortunately, but you get a more intimate view of everything that happened from my perspective that the documentary talks about, and it also talks about the personal tragedy that I experienced and how that pushed me to gaming and how gaming was cathartic for me and all the frustration and anger and sadness I felt coming out of the tragedy that I do write about in that book. So it's only 100 pages. Yeah, please do check it out if you wanted to.
Awesome, great, thanks.
All right.
So from there, I think we're just going to roll right into to episode number 2. And you know, thank you very much for coming on.
Let's do it.
It's been a pleasure chatting with you.
Guys.
Yeah. Take care.
Merry Christmas, happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
You too.
All right, and we're going to go to a quick commercial, and we'll be back with episode 2, No Johns.
Stay tuned.